Okay, so finishing up our slide presentation here. Yeah, as far as Fulis Busansky goes, we can't say for sure what happened, but we do know that the death was fortuitously timed for the investigations that were undergoing at that time, and what she was trying to do was straighten up the Hillsborough County Supervisor of Elections office. And apparently there were plenty of people who didn't want that to happen. Some of the people that were there through Buddy Johnson's tenure are still at that office. So there's a lot more that we don't know about that situation. But we do know that it is very strange. Now, Brevard County continues to rely on the Dominion voting systems. Brevard County, right here in Brevard where we are. That's according to Eddie Thompson, Outreach Project Manager for the Supervisor of Elections office. Now, the problem in Hillsborough County was so grave, and it used Dominion voting systems. You would think, statewide, and including our county where we are here that we love so well, you would think people would be questioning what happened in 2010 with the election of Rick Scott and would demand answers, because 38,000 is no small number. Again, let's go back to the Vietnam Memorial Wall. I told you we were going to get back to this. The news media in Hillsborough called 38,000 ballots a minor glitch. Let's examine this number. There's nothing minor about it. With 58,198 names on the Vietnam Memorial Wall, 38,000 represents 65% of that number. At 249 feet, you would have to walk 162 feet down the length of the Vietnam Memorial Wall, half a football field, to get to the 38,000th name. That is not a minor glitch. Okay? Every mother's child on the Vietnam Memorial Wall gave their life so that each one of us could continue to vote. Fixing the problem is of the utmost importance, a moral imperative. Okay, what can we do? We need to get the vote back. Okay? We need to provide a system of auditing for all election software nationwide. Okay, right now we can't audit the software that's involved in these elections. It's completely black box. That is to say, you push a button, you put your vote in there, and it goes bye-bye. And you don't know who's counting it, or what, or how that vote is being counted, or if it's being counted. And you as a citizen don't have the right to look at the software. You don't have the right to appoint someone to go look at the software. You know, your software in your ATM machine receives a regular audit. Okay, the software that runs the pumps on your gas station receive a regular audit. Okay, an independent audit. But trade secrets protections continue to prevent the public from auditing the software. Meantime, they throw the software up on secret web servers, and the unscrupulous people who might be involved in stealing our elections are then free to pick apart that software and use them for their benefit to steal the elections. Okay? So we need to provide a system of auditing for all election software, which we don't have. And we need to provide a system for auditing of our elections here in Florida. A regular audit of the elections. Okay? Not just just a regular audit. And in the next slide we'll talk about this argument. If we can't do the first of these two, we could return to a true paper ballot with hand recounting. The great part about hand recounting is if you have an unscrupulous person working in one office who is a hand recounter and who's going to hack the vote on his pile of ballots, okay, he can only do so much damage. But as these computer experts have said, one person can own an entire election. One unscrupulous person with one bit of code can own an entire election. Okay, all the way up to the White House. Okay, if we can't, another initiative we might look into is to scrap this electoral college business. Once you've owned these 29 votes in the state of Florida, or once you've gotten hold of them in other swing states like Ohio, and those votes go into the electoral college system, and the electoral college system might give the office to somebody, the White House particularly, who's definitely not the popular vote of the people throughout the country of the United States. So what's the point anyway of democracy? The representative democracy means, we put the person in the White House who gets the most votes, that gets the most individual votes. One person, one vote. That was supposed to be the deal. Anyway, back to the idea of having a regular audit for all our elections. Okay, Charlie Crist did back a move to do away with the paperless touchscreen systems in lieu of the optical scan machines, and everyone thought, that's great, Charlie. You're on our side. You want the popular vote to be the vote that is listened to. But on the other side of that, he refused to hear talk of an audit for general elections like what we were talking about just now. He would not get behind this. So you still have no clue. You still have no clue whether or not your votes are really being counted. It's great that they now use a paper system, but when all you have to do is swap those ballots out, you can still hack just as many elections. You can still control or own an election with one bit of code introduced at one location. Okay, if you have no system to audit that, the paper ballots it's a band-aid. It's an illusion of transparency, and there's no system right now for auditing our election. He wouldn't get behind this. The Florida Voters Foundations challenged them to come up with they challenged the Secretary of State Browning, and they challenged Crist. They said, look, we can come up with a program to audit our votes using statistical analysis. And Browning said, he's been quoted by those from the Florida Voters Foundation, he told them specifically that he, quote, hates statistics, which is folksy nonsense. If there's anybody in the room that knows statistics and knows how to use them, it's Browning. Okay, so another thing we can do to fix this, to continue to do the right thing, is we need to vote. We don't need to stop voting. We don't need to stop registering people to vote. That doesn't make any sense, okay? In protest, we stop registering people to vote. Yes, they are charging $1,000 if you don't turn those registrations in within 48 hours. Guess what? If we all take the hit, then eventually somebody's going to see that law is a poll tax and it's unconstitutional. I say we all register to vote, register people to vote, and we all turn them in 72 hours, not 48. Let him come after everybody. Let's see how far he gets trying to get everybody. Frankly, I don't understand the National Organization of Women deciding, well, we're not going to register people to vote. I don't understand that, because that's precisely what they want. They want you to stop registering people to vote. Okay? We need to register people to vote, and we need to vote, and we need to participate in the exit polls. The exit polling often tells the true story, and the data will survive all of us living in these corporate dark ages. We owe it to history to participate in the exit polls as well as to vote. That'll show when the votes have at least show when the votes in the elections have been hacked. Okay. Another thing we can do is we can contact the U.S. Department of Justice. Eric Holder and the U.S. DOJ need to find their guts and stop using issues like this as political football. And they need to investigate the election of Rick Scott. The election of Rick Scott is very suspect. I don't say that just as somebody who's partisanly against Rick Scott, which I obviously am. I don't say that because I decided I wanted to write a story that said that he's a result of a corrupted election. I merely opened the line of inquiry to my own research. How did he get elected? And when I discovered all this, okay, I think now more than ever, this affects Republicans and Democrats. This affects everybody. If this guy got his office through hacking, he needs to be gone. And if it were Alex Sink that did this, or the election was won for her by means of hacking, electronic vote tampering, and so forth, there'd be somebody else here doing the same presentation that you're watching now, urging the same thing, which is to look into Hillsborough County, look into Palm Beach County, look into these counties where they had problems, and look into the election of Rick Scott. And of course, you need to contact the DOJ at askdoj@usdoj.gov. The whole story on Rick Scott. You can go to Amazon Kindle store and download my book on your Kindle or Apple device, or you can download it on your PC. And the book is called Rick Scott, Enemy of the State. And let's get out of that. And thank you very much for listening.